Howdy, I'm CyberX with Wondrously Crafted, and today we're doing part 10. Yes, the last episode I said it was part 8, but it was really part 9. I got them mixed up. So this is part 10, and today I'm going to show you a few things I did off camera. It's nothing that we hadn't already done. I just expanded it out. So when you click this little button that's down here in this bottom bar, we just get a ship menu now. So you click, and it's exactly the same thing we did with the space station menu in the last episode. And then I also, on the projectile, because we're in space, I changed our projectile to not have any gravity. So those are two things that I did, and let me just show you what the item detector looks like. But I'm just saying, if I have this hotbar, well, first I'm setting the dialogue to player, and I put the NPC in player, and then I'm giving the player a ship menu uh, item, and I put it in the last slot locked. If they interact with that item, then I run this dialogue command against myself, which opens up the ship dialogue. And I just put that in a BPAC in the player. So we'd already done that. So if you need to know how to do that, you just go back to the previous parts and watch how we did that. So now what we're going to be doing is we have this system set up, and we have this status over here, and I put in these red alert, yellow alert, normal, silent, and shut down. You can see the text goes off the edge, so that sucks. We'll have to put that information in this box, but that's fine. What we're going to do today is we're going to set up the fuel usage system. So if you see, we have 250 fuel on our dashboard right now. That doesn't actually do anything. And so what we want to do is we want to set up these 5 states. So we want to be able to say, well, we're in state shutdown, and no fuel's going to use, and our shields won't work or whatever. Maybe we'll have it where, like, if you hit the shields, it uses some fuel, or it kicks you into a different mode just automatically. Like maybe using shift automatically puts you into yellow alert. That might be a good option. So let's work on this today. I'm not quite sure how we're gonna do it, but that's the whole point of doing game development, was we just gotta work it out. So the first thing we need to do is we need to set up a mechanism just to take away fuel on a certain amount of time, and we can only do integers, so we have to either think about, we don't want to just take away 1 per second or 1 per tick, because that would be only 250 seconds of fuel. So we probably want to take away 1 per like minute, or 1 per whatever long period. So I think what we want to start with is, let's do a animation controller, and we're going to say this is the fuel system. Let's say this is the ship fuel system, because we don't know what other fuel systems we might have down the road. And we're going to set this up. And we're going to say state picker, just like we have been. Default state picker. And then we need to have nothing and nothing for now. So we know we can always just start with our states. We know we're going to have these states. So we're going to have a shutdown state. We're going to have a silent state. We're going to have a normal state. We're going to have yellow alert. And we're going to have red alert the highest. And then we know that we need to be able to go between all of these. So we have a shutdown, and then we need to query something to get us into that state. Most likely the easiest option is we use a var or a marked var for that. Now we could use a marked var because we just to save var for something else. So let's try this. So we're going to say our base state is shut down 0. So if in base state, go to 0. Okay. And then we'll say if in state 1, go to silent. And if we match these to these numbers is always really helpful. And then, so let's just make enough of these for all of them, and we'll say, okay, so 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Okay, and then we have silent, normal, normal, wait, not sitting straight at the desk. Okay, we have normal, we have yellow alert, we have red alert, and we have destroyed. Okay, so we need to add destroyed in. I need to add that. Destroyed. No fuel. Okay. So next, oops, doesn't go there. It goes here. So next, we need to come into our state. And when we're in our state, we need to run a let's run a command saying tell at p we can even do self and then tag because we're talking to ourselves. Tag self. I don't want to do that because if we do change this, then it's not going to work. So we'll do p. Tell p tag diag that the ship fuel system state, ship status state shut down. We'll just do that in all of these. I found that the time it takes me to put this in, I will save it plus a billion minutes more doing diag when something doesn't work. And it could be like in 6 months, you know, when I'm stopped working on this project and I've come back to it, and or it's my 3rd time coming back to it or whatever, and I need to diag something, just having the diag already there is well worth it. Going back and trying to put the diag in after the fact is much more harder. Much more harder? Much harder. Okay, so now we've got a good set of logic here. We're going to say if the player, us, is marked variant 0, go to shutdown mode. If it's 1, go to silent. If it's so, all the way down. And we have normal. Okay, and then we're going to tell ourselves, if diag tag, we're going to tell ourselves what state we're in. Now, the next step is we need to, on a timer, remove fuel in a loop. Now, you could loop the state machine, but I think in this situation it's going to be a lot easier to do an animation. So we're going to say fuel usage state shut down, and we're going to make a animation out of it. Now, one of the things that this is nice is we can set the animation length different for each of them, and that's going to really help down the road. So we need to have so this would be our full usage, and let's work that out really quick. So that's going to be that's fine because we're not doing anything with it. So the fuel usage is simply just a scoreboard removal of a point. We could remove more points at a time if we wanted to, but I think the best option is to change the time at which we remove them. So we're going to say remove from P or self fuel, and we're going to say 1. Okay, so now we're going to go back to here, and we're going to say that command for 0 seconds in. And then we're going to set this to loop true. That's always a problem. Now the next step is we need to put that animation in here. So fuel usage state shut down, and yes, we want to use it. And then how we're going to transition back is we're going to say we're going to transition back to the state machine if we are no longer 0. So if we're not equal to 0, we're going to go back to the state machine and figure out who we're equal to. So we come in, we say, oh, we're in shutdown, it's 0. We come in here, we tell the player we're in shutdown. We go to the animation, we start the animation, we play the animation, and it removes the fuel. 1 second goes by, it removes the fuel. It keeps looping, keeps going. Once the state changes, we exit out and we come back to here and get into the right state. Now we need to go into player and we need to put both these systems in. So we need to put in the fuel usage for shutdown state, and we need to tie that to our Oh, I didn't put it in there. Okay. We need to tie this to here. And then we need to bring in our fuel system. And we want to run our fuel system all the time. Now we could we could easily have something like when docked. Oh yeah, so we'll do that. So we'll say query is writing, and then we'll say not. So as long as we're not writing. So if we're docked, then we won't be using any fuel up because the fuel's coming from the shuttle docking or whatever, the docking system. That I like that. Okay, so now we have a fuel system. We have an animation that's firing off in a loop. We have the system coming in, picking the state picker. State picker chooses shutdown. It comes down, it plays this guy. It tells us if it's not 0, it comes back. Now, we still don't have a way to set that state, so we need to come in and say fuel or ship state, and then we need to say shut down, and then this is marked variant 0. Now we have to have some mechanism to to remove and add. So we're gonna say ship state shut down event, and this is gonna be a add the ship state. Now when we add other ship states, we're gonna do a remove. But for now, all I want to do is I want to get this one set up and tested. So if when the player's going to start, he's not going to have this. We're going to fire this command off. It's going to give him this, and that should start counting down how much fuel is being used. I have a worry that that animation isn't set up right because I think Bridge breaks those when I do it like that. I think I have to put 0.0, but we'll see. We will see. I got this squeaky chair. Chairs are expensive. I just can't afford another chair. You just got to deal with the squeakiness. Sorry. Okay, so it's already working. I'm not sure why we have that variant already, but we do. So I guess because we're 0, yeah, that makes sense. So our fuel's draining. Now we are going to have to put something into that command that says like we probably need to have like an out of fuel system. So we need the command that says remove fuel to check if there's any fuel to remove. And then if there isn't any fuel to remove, then we need to go to like a low power mode or no power mode or something. And give some warnings and all of that stuff. So at this stage we've got our basic system. So now what we're going to do is we're going to say in that animation we're going to make the fuel usage removal 0. And since we're not going to actually be removing anything, technically we don't need any of this, but we'll leave it just to have that logic. So we're going to come back in, and then we're going to duplicate this, and this one is going to be silent. So now in silent mode, we are going to remove some, but we're going to remove it every 60 seconds. Remember, you have to change the animation to be as long as I'm not sure how this is, if what's the best way to do this. I think we want to take it away right away and then count to 60. The thought process is here is, what if they change between states really fast? Every time they change between states, they're going to lose that much energy. What we probably should say is cut it in half and say at 30 seconds we're going to remove the fuel, so halfway through. And then this one's not going to be shut down, this one's going to be silent. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go back to our player, we're going to go into our player's brain, and we're going to add in fuel usage state silent, paste that in, grab this guy, go to our state machine. In silent, we're going to add in the animation, and we're going to make the animation now our silent animation. And then we need to still have a return. So our return is going to be 1. If you're not the current state, which is 1, then go back to the state picker. If you are 1, then just keep looping. So we're looping, we say silent, we're looping, we're happy, we're happy, we're happy. But we don't have an event yet, so we need to have the event. So we're going to copy and paste the event. And now in our event, we're going to say that this guy is silent and this guy is silent. And then we need to add in that group for silent and change it to 1. Now it's really important that we always remove everything that we're not using before we add anything else. So now that we're adding more stuff in, every time we add something in, we need to come into this group and we need to add in to each of the previous groups everything we've added. So we don't ever want to be adding in before we remove. So we're always going to remove everything before we add. And you can remove yourself, that's fine. But you're not typically ever adding yourself back in. Sometimes you don't want to remove yourself. It just depends on how you're doing this. But for now, we're just going to say we want to remove everything before we get in and do anything else, before we add the new guy. Okay? So silent, silent, shut down, shut down. So in this situation now, we should be able to change between these two, have no fuel usage or have fuel usage every second. So let's see how this works. A few things that we need to be aware of is we need to make sure we add the diag tag so that we're seeing our diag messages, and we need to have the HUD on to be able to see them. So right now at the very top it does say CyberAxe whispered to you ship status state shut down. So we're going to go to our event entity at self, and we're going to change it to be a sorry, we want to change it to be the fuel usage system, which would be state silent. Okay, it says at the top we're in state silent, so that's good. We're not losing any fuel right now. And we're just going to wait a few. Awesome. So we're at 169. So we lost one set of fuel. Now we could go back and switch to our other event. So we're back to shutdown, and we're good. Now, what we could do in the long run is we could have the status of the ship on the HUD somewhere, but most likely we'll actually have the ship itself change based on the status. So the lights and the particles and how the ship look will change based on what state we're in. So now that we've got that, let's keep going. Let's just add in these next states. So we're going to go through the same process. We're going to go to our player, and let's start here. So let's say, oh, we need to have another one of these, and the next one now is going to be normal, and normal is going to be 2. And then we're going to add in another one, and we're going to say we need to have yellow alert, and that's going to be 3. Then we need to have red alert, and that's going to be 4. And then we need to have a state for destroyed. I don't know what I'm going to use that for. I just know we're going to need to have some other state, right? So now we've got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have silent, normal, yellow, red, destroyed. And then now we need to do the same thing down here. Now a trick here is, since we've already made all of those, if we put these in our remove now, we won't have to add them separately. So we're just going to go in and add in the silent, shutdown, normal, silent, shutdown, normal, yellow, red, destroyed. And then I can just copy that, delete that, and paste it. Now I've got that list, okay? So then when we copy this and we paste it, we're not going to have to do the remove each time. So now we're going to say normal event, and then we're just going to flip the normal event into the add. Same thing, rinse, repeat. Then we're yellow alert event, and same. We're going to take normal out and put yellow in. Rinse, repeat. And this one's going to be red. And since it's the same words, we can just say red. And then last is destroyed. And same. Probably what we'll do on destroy is just dump all of the fuel out into 0 because you won't have any fuel left. It's kind of interesting because we're doing this a little different. The ship is the player, so it's not like I could just say, oh well, we destroyed the ship and now you're not writing it anymore. That you are the ship itself. Okay, so we've done half the equations. We got all of our events in. We've got our let's set up our BPAC next. So now we need to do, we have all the tells. We need to do all of the animations. So let's click these for all the animations. And then let's open them all up. And we're just going to do the exact same thing. So we're going to say, instead of silent, your normal, your yellow alert, you are red alert, you are destroyed. Oh, your state destroyed. Oh, really messed that up. State destroyed. Okay, so now we've got yellow alert, red alert, destroyed, normal, and silent, and those all match up, right? Next, we need to do our transition. So we need to transition, and then we're going to open them all up. Open them, and then we're going to say, okay, so 0, normal is 2, yellow alert is 3. It's always a good idea to make a chart or write down in your book what these are, because you'll need to refer to them from here on out. Okay, so now we've got 5s, we got these set up, we've got our return set up, we've got our animations put in there. Next, we need to go into our animations themselves, and we need to make each of those animations. So we're going to go in animations, we're going to duplicate, and we're going to say normal. And we could say normal is every 30 seconds. So every 30 seconds, we're going to use some fuel. That puts us at it doesn't really matter because we can change these and the player doesn't see this stuff. So we can change this as needed. I'm not sure what the math would be. So if I have 500 fuel, that would buy me 250 seconds. No, 250 minutes. 250 minutes is 4 hours. That's a lot of time for fuel. So we'll come back to that. So we have normal, and there's not really anything else to do here. So then let's flip normal to yellow alert, yellow alert, and during yellow alert we'll say 15. So halfsies. Now next we're doing red alert, red alert, red alert, and this one will do 10. Okay, and then we need one more for destroyed. And destroyed, we're going to do 0 and, let's just do 60 again, and then we'll come back to the destroy. We're just going to disable these in the long run. Okay. So next, we need to put these in the system. Before we do that, I wanted to go back to yellow alert. See how this has changed. I want to make this 7.5, so right between. I want to make silent 30. I'm going to make, see, it's resetting that for me. It thinks that this is the timeline's a list, so that's fine. We'll come back to that down the road. Okay, so next is we need to put all of those into our animations. So we're going to copy, paste. I'm going to say, let's see, silent, and then we had normal and normal. And then we've got yellow alert and yellow alert. Red alert and red alert. Destroyed and destroyed. Okay, so now we've got let's move this one up so they're all in order. So we have shutdown, silent, yellow, or normal, yellow, red, destroyed. Shutdown, silent, normal, yellow, red, destroyed. I think that's all of them. We have the events. So now let's jump in and let's test it again. Okay, so now we've got all of our events. Let's go to normal. And then let's give it a second. Well, it already did it. You can see when we flipped to normal, it took one away because we're at 8. So let's go to red alert. Oh, there's 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. That's about 10 seconds. So that seems good. So next is we have these events, and what we're going to do now is we're going to go into our dialogue system, And in our dialog system, we have a, sorry, let me just, we have this guy. So now in here, we're going to say normal maybe easier to do this. Okay, so now we've got all of them in here. We're going to say red alert. Yellow alert. Normal. Silent. And shut down. We're going to save. Start the game back up. And now we should, instead of having to use the commands, be able to use the dialog menu system to switch between our options. Okay, so we're on red alert. We're going to hit our menu, do status, and we're going to go to shutdown. Okay, it said shutdown. We're going to go to status. We're going to go to silent. It says silent. We're going to go to normal. It says normal. We're going to go to yellow. It says yellow. We're going to go to high. It says high. Now, we did get a content error, you can see, that popped up. So let's go check. I most likely just spelled something wrong. So our destroyed animation, we know this one was not, that was bad, so we already did that. So can't find fuel usage state destroyed. Can't find fuel usage state destroyed. So let's go back and see which one we messed up. So we have our fuel system destroyed, those look right. Fuel usage state destroyed. Fuel usage state destroyed. Oh, there it is. Destroyed. I was so worried about what we were going to do, I didn't change the identifier. Now, we would have caught that if, when we put it in the animations in the player's brain, we'd used the autocomplete system to help. It would have fixed, it would have caught that issue, but I just typed them in. If you were doing them one by one, you would have just used the autocomplete, and that would have helped. Okay, so now we click it, and all of those should be good. Let's go. Oh, we don't have a destroyed state because we're not using it, but that's fine. So now we have none. Don't use any power, and then we have status red alert, which has used lots of power. Now let's zoom over to our planet here. Zoom in. One of the things I want to add is like a warp system. So we can have like, I don't know if it'll just be high speed travel. I'm kind of thinking that you'll click it and it will just teleport you with some fancy animations. So we're using fuel still, so we're doing good there. And now we're gonna click, and then we're just gonna wait and see if we use any fuel, because the whole point is we should still be in the state, but we're not gonna be using fuel because we're docked. Sorry, I got lost chatting. So I don't think we've lost any fuel in this whole time. So we're doing good there. If we disconnect again, um, how we have it set up now, there we go. We lost some fuel. Movement doesn't matter. I don't know if I really care. I think fuel should be based on if you're sitting still or moving because the ship's using it. One way or another. So I think that's it. I think we're way over time today. Thanks for watching. This has been episode part 10 of how to make a full game arcade space shooter. Today we added in a menu system and some statuses for the fuel system. We got the fuel system going. It's eating up fuel now. Next, we need to put in some caps at too little fuel or maybe too much fuel, and some kind of like speed system. So we need to go very slow whenever we're at zero fuel and have some concept there. Probably also when we're shut down. So when we're shut down, we'll be at very minimal usage, very slow. Maybe we'll just use an effect for that slowness, and then yeah, I actually like that. I think that's not a bad idea. Okay, come back for the next episode. Thanks for watching.